Hey yo fellow Neopians, this is my guide on GTU, Grand Theft Ummagine. It is the story of Stan the Kyrii, basically just stealing food to survive. This guide is going to show you how to get a perfect score in GTU, which is going to allow you to get a gold trophy as well as an avatar. Unlike with my other guides, I'm not going to be explaining step by step what I'm doing. I'm just going to be displaying visually on screen how to beat the levels, while explaining a little bit of what the core gameplay mechanics are and pointing out important parts of the game that could use a little additional explanation. The first few levels are just to demonstrate how movement works and how you can use line of sight to block the elephant guards from catching you while you walk around the board and grab food items. One of the good things about this game is that you have unlimited lives, so if you're having a difficult time, you can always step away from it, leave the game running in the background, and then come back to it later. There are also trap tiles in this game where you don't want to step on them or else your character will be reset to the beginning of the level. There are a few mazes in this game that are randomly generated every time you play. I'm just going to fast forward through it because there's not any information I can give you on how to beat it more quickly. You'll just have to find your way through the maze every time you play these levels. If you're not wanting to play the entire game in one playthrough your first attempt, there are level codes that'll give you. It's unique to each player, so my code displayed won't work for you. You won't be able to carry your score between entering your code in, but it will allow you to practice further levels in the game if you're not able to sit down in one session and beat the entire game. On this level, we're going to go ahead and grab the ring on the top of the map and then step downwards to the right, up, and then back over to the right. This is going to give us a ring of invisibility that we can use to grab the Ummagine over here and escape from the elephant without being caught. Whenever we're walking back to the exit, make sure to avoid the trap tile at the bottom. The first thing we're going to do on this level is make our way all the way over to the right. There's a pair of obelisks. Inside of there is a secret chamber. There are a few secret chambers in this game. I will make sure to point them out whenever we get to them. There are no enemies inside of these chambers. It's just a matter of grabbing all the items from them and then making your way to the exit. Whenever you get to this bridge, make sure to hover your mouse over the elephant morphing potion and then click on it as soon as you start walking down. And then cross the bridge in the middle until you get to the end, make a U-turn, and that'll allow you to trap that elephant in the middle of the bridge so they won't be able to do anything. We'll make our way back up the road, stop by the second tree on the right, and then go back downwards, and then as soon as you're about to reach the crack in the road, press up. We'll stand in the little nook over here. We'll make our way back over to the obelisk that we had the secret entrance before we step downwards towards the water, because if we're within 6 spaces of the elephant, they will still be able to follow us. Grab the elephant morphing potion next to the castle and then follow back that path right next to the water, heading back to the first place we used an elephant morphing potion. Once we get down to this lower area, you'll see that there's a lighter shade of blue for the water at the very edge of the board. That is water that you can walk on. Just make sure to stop before you reach the end. There's a vortex at the end of it that is a trap tile as well. And then we'll walk upwards to the bridge, grab another ring of invisibility, and make sure to turn around before you go too far because there's a crack in the bridge that you would fall through. Once you're standing next to the tower, activate your ring of invisibility and then walk to the left. On the level of the 3 Halls of Insanity, every other row is trapped. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to walk all the way upwards to the top hand of the room, take 2 steps over to the left, and then walk all the way downwards. Again, you'll take 2 steps to the left and walk all the way upwards. If you're not sure which side is the safe one to walk on, you can tell because there is a set of cracked tiles on the bottom left of the board. That's an indication that that is not the side you want to walk on. The next room is going to follow the same pattern, but starting on the opposite side, you'll see that there's a cracked tile on the other side. Once we get to the far left-hand side of the room, instead of going upwards, we're actually going to go downwards. There's another secret room here that you need to get into. Again, I'm going to fast forward through the hidden room because it is very self-explanatory. Once we're back out into the Halls of Insanity, we're going to make our way upwards. And then once we get to the end here, we're going to make a right. And then with this room, before we reach the very end, we're going to stop on the last square tile that is marked out. Then we'll take 2 steps downwards and then walk all the way to the left. Once we get to the top, we're going to take 2 steps downwards and then walk to the right. You'll notice that I hover my mouse cursor over a specific tile. That is because once we get down here, that is a safe tile to step back on. Once we grab the Pumtek fruit, step back onto that tile, take 2 steps downwards, and then again all the way to the left to the end of the room. We're going to take 2 steps downwards again once we get to the end of this hall, and then straight out to the exit. Now, as soon as we load into this level, you'll notice that my mouse pointer is next to a pair of crates. As soon as you notice that Elephante is standing in that spot, press downwards, and that'll allow you to trap him in this corner. We're going to do the exact same thing up at the top, and then where you see my mouse, once the Elephante is standing next to that point, again press downwards, and they'll be trapped exactly where we want them to be for the rest of the level. We're going to make our way over to the right, and just before we interact with the elephants, we're going to engage our elephant morphing potion, and then that'll allow us to grab the treasure to leave the level. As soon as we enter this level, walk to the right, we're going to take 1 step back, and then we're going to toggle back and forth between pressing down and upwards to trap this elephant into this corner. Grab this Bagus. We're going to walk upwards and then to the left, and then right before we go up, we're going to activate our elephant morphing potion. That way we can grab this, make our way all the way down, and then to the left. Now you're going to notice that I hesitate before I go downwards again. I want to make sure that this elephant is parallel with the obelisk before I press it downwards. That's going to allow us to trap them before we leave the level. The first thing we're going to do on this level is walk between the middle of these square tiles. Step over to the left as soon as there's an opening, and then walk upwards. There's a hidden room over here. We're going to wind up having to go back to the beginning of the level and start over, but you want to grab the treasure early. This is the level that I wind up repeating more than any other level. It is the most frustrating level in the game because it's very particular about the timing to trap this elephant where you want them. And usually I would cut out recordings of me making mistakes, but I wanted to include it so you could see, just like, even as somebody who's practiced this a lot of times, it does take quite a few tries to get it right. So don't get discouraged if you have trouble with it. Just keep going. You'll be able to see that eventually I do get through the gap, and then these 2 elephants are merged into the same spot. We're going to tap back and forth between up and down to trap them between these 2 walls, and then we're going to go downwards to this next chamber. Now this elephant is also going to try to mirror our movements, so you don't want to go all the way down to grab the chia fruit. You want to be just close enough to make contact with it before you press upwards again. Once you have it, make your way over and across. As soon as you pass this vase, step upwards to those benches, and then we're just going to follow the benches all the way around to grab the Ummagine. Once we have that, we're going to circle back and grab the Bagus that you can see in the corner here. Before you grab it, activate your elephant morphing potion, and then walk to the right, and walk upwards and to the right. I usually stop on the 2nd or 3rd stair until my potion wears off, but it actually wore off pretty quickly this time. And then you'll grab this potion, activate it right before you go over the edge, grab the sausages, and then walk downwards. Make sure to avoid the crack in the ground. And then as soon as you get to this little cluster of 5 orange carpets, you can activate your ring of invisibility before leaving the level. Anecdotally, I find this to be the most time-consuming maze. I'm not sure why, but I've noticed that this one tends to be a little longer than the others. Again, it's completely random, so I can't really make a guide on how to beat it. Just follow one wall until you eventually find the exit. So I don't have any particular advice for Waterworld. I will say that on this level there is a very slight difference of color between the blue water in the middle and the blue water in the outside. You can walk on the light blue water in the middle. As soon as you enter this level, you can take one step to the right and then downwards, and then we're going to take a left turn as soon as we get to the last water block, and that's going to take us to our last secret room. Again, the last secret room, you just run around, grab the items, and then head out. You're going to automatically lose because the elephant will catch you, and then we're going to walk them upwards to the left-hand corner so that they don't catch us when we're grabbing the item at the bottom. As soon as you enter this level, take a step to the right, walk downwards, and we're actually going to go off this slightly different looking path, follow it all the way to the end. There's an elephant morphing potion that we're going to need to grab the final piece of the puzzle here. This is a rather long level, so I'm going to use this opportunity to ask if anybody has any additional game guides that they're interested in me making. Please leave so in the comments. I want to make a video for Bruno's Backwoods Breakaway, but I can't seem to figure out how to get it to work on my computer. I also might start making guides for avatars instead of just for gold trophies, because there are only so many guaranteed gold trophies in the game. There's really only one place on this board where you can make a mistake, and it's right at the end. I'll make sure to point it out as we're getting there. As soon as you round this corner, make sure to slow down so this elephant follows you all the way down to the end of the boardwalk. As soon as you're pressing right, make sure to activate the potion. Grab the item real quick. You don't have to go fully onto the title. Just as long as you touch the fruit, you can turn around and then walk out of there. You want to move as quickly as possible with this part. This is the only part of the level where you can really mess anything up, and it's extremely frustrating if you have to redo it just because it's so time consuming. The Raging Rivers is my favorite of the three randomly generated mazes, because if you reach a dead end and you don't want to have to walk all the way back to the beginning, you can just walk over into the water and reset and start it over. There's also sometimes multiple ways to get to the end, so I find that this one tends to be the easiest of the three mazes. This is going to be the last level with a hidden area. Make sure to go grab all the additional items that are hidden on the far right hand side of the board. And just like before, we're going to use objects to block the elephants from being able to follow us. This is going to be the final level that has any enemies on it, so once we're through here, it's smooth sailing. We're going to walk all the way over to the right, and as we start walking downwards, we're going to slow down. There is one elephant we want to make sure to trap in the chamber on the right hand side. Once they're next to us, we can go ahead and walk around, grab the Ummagine. We're going to walk through this door on the left, and then as soon as we're through it, walk upwards to this base and then to the left. What we're going to do is we're going to direct this elephant into this chamber at the top. Stand next to this tower. I'm not sure what these towers are called. If you know, could you leave it in the comments for me? I'm going to hover over the ring of invisibility and activate it right before we go through this door. And then we're going to move our mouse cursor from the ring to the elephant morphing potion. As soon as we become visible again, we're going to activate that and then move our mouse cursor over to the ring of invisibility. So you're going to need all three of them a lot of the times in order to escape without being caught. Just make sure to go down through the corner, grab the last Poontech fruit, and then you can leave the level. This is your final level in the game. We're just going to follow this trail of orange carpets until we get to a bend. We're going to notice that there are two crates. You're going to stand on the third orange carpet upwards, and then we're going to take 3 steps over to the left and then walk upwards until we stand on the next set of orange carpets. Once we're up here, we're going to walk on the path towards the right. We're going to continue down the path until we see there's another set of carpets like this. We're going to again stand on the third orange carpet, take 3 steps to the right this time, and then walk upwards. You'll see another short path. You're actually going to take 1 step to the right despite what it looks like, and then step upwards until we get to this last area. We're going to take 2 steps to the left, 2 steps up, walk to the left again, and then just follow the path all the way to the end of the game. I appreciate you all watching this guide. I'm glad I was able to condense this to being only less than 20 minutes. I was worried that I was going to have to make a multiple series video. If you have any other recommendations for guides that you're interested in watching, avatar guides or gold trophy guides, please let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. Thank you and have a nice day.